All right. So a lot of people are wondering if Trump will seek revenge if he gets a seat in the White House. And everyone has opinions on what he should do, what he shouldn't do. But we're going to listen to him and see what he has to say about it here on this segment of an interview on Fox and Friends. And yeah, we'll listen to him, and I'll kind of react with my thoughts on it as we go through. Anyway, here we go.
In your presidency, what they've done to you, you've got the verdict that just came through. A lot of Democrats have expressed concern that if you're elected, you're going to want revenge. And some of your supporters have said, well, you know, mutually, you know, we're just talking about the weaponization of the justice system against political opponents. Some of your supporters have said, well, the only way to stop this is mutually assured destruction, right? If you do it to us, we're going to do it to you. You've said, no, my revenge is going to be success for America. You've just had this verdict. Yeah. Do you still feel the same? What's your...
All right, before he answers that, I am going to say I am in the camp of he should hit back. Republicans in general should hit back at Democrats for the obvious lawfare. I think they should hit him hard. I think they should hit him harder than they hit Trump with it. And my reasoning for that is Democrats tend to push the boundaries on everything. They push and they push and they push, and when they don't get pushback, they just continue to do it. At least that's certainly been what I've noticed over my 52 years on this earth. So they will, I don't see them stopping this lawfare, this case, trying to prosecute any of their opponents for president or any other office, really. Now, I saw an interview with someone else who was a political pundit, and he said that he sees the lawfare. He has experienced lawfare on both sides, and I'm sure that does happen. I'm sure both sides, Republicans and Democrats, participate in a tit for tat with the lawfare and the you know, these kind of political games. Politics gets dirty, and it seems like almost nothing is off the table. The smear campaign is the biggest tool. That's what I think. That's probably the most, has been in the past, the most, what do I want to say, the most effective tool that either side uses. But with this new lawfare and trying to prosecute and then imprison a former president, or even if he wasn't former president, he is the number one presidential candidate for the Republican Party. And that's, I think that's just where they say beyond the pale. That's, excuse me, that's going a little bit too far. Local campaigns, state campaigns, things like that. I mean, I'm sure it happens. It just has never happened at this level. But anyways, like I said, I think that Trump should definitely hit back hard at Democrats with lawfare. Not to make up cases, as it appears has happened in this particular case, to create cases or create charges out of, or elevate misdemeanor charges into felonies or whatever like that. But I believe he should do and investigate Hillary. I believe he should investigate Biden, Obama, and Bill Clinton, and just see what's there. So anyways, that's my opinion on it, but let's see what the former president has to say.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's a really tough question in one way, because these are bad people. These people are sick, and they do things that are
He's
so
not wrong
destructive. I mean, look what they did from the day I got there. And I don't know, a lot of people said we have no choice but to elect Trump. Republicans, because he's the only one that can withstand this. Don't forget, if it weren't me, they'd be going after somebody else. And I know a lot of the competition, they wouldn't do so well. They wouldn't be doing so well right now. They'd be saying, Mommy, take me home. I want to go home. This is brutal. But these are sick people. And for instance, the 51 intelligence agents, who thinks of these? And they think about it just like they say.
What was that with the 51 intelligence agents who signed off on the Hunter Biden laptop story that, according to several polls, would have changed the result of the election if that had come out? Now, these 51 intelligence agents signed off on that as Russian propaganda. Well, now we know better. It's legit Hunter's laptop. So that was clear influencing an election, which is at least a portion of what Trump has just been investigated and tried and convicted for. So who is going to go back and pay the penalty for that? Nobody. I think it's come out recently that Joe Biden, his campaign was involved in that. Of course, obviously he would be. And that's just one of the things that I believe they should go back and hit them until Democrats say, we've had enough. We're not going to do, let's stop this and don't make politics this anymore. But I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. Let's see what Trump says he's going to do about it.
I'm guilty of, and all this information was from so many years before the election. It was before the election. So
that's a great point, because so you're talking about the intel agencies. Obviously, remember what Chuck Schumer said? He said, if you tick off the intel agencies, they'll find a way to get you 6 ways a day. If you're elected, are you going to reform the intel community? What exactly are you going to do to make sure they don't target Americans like this?
Well, first of all, if you remember, when I took over, we had a guy named Comey. He was there. I didn't put him there. I didn't want him there. I thought he was terrible, actually. And he tried to get me, and I reversed it on him. Some people said he cost Hillary the election, and he didn't want to. But he was a bad guy, not a capable guy, an evil guy. They were doing things that, I won't mention here because it's so conspiratorial. I don't want to be conspiratorial. It's too nice a show. But bad guy. I fired him. Then I fired Strzok and Page and this one and that one. I got rid of that whole group of people, and we were doing great. Look, it's a very interesting question, and I say it and it sounds beautiful, right? My revenge will be success, and I mean that. But it's awfully...
So there you have it. From Trump, his revenge will be his success. That's what he has said all along, even before the conviction. All along, he said success is going to be my revenge for these investigations and these prosecutions. So we'll watch the rest of this. It's like 11 minutes long.
It's really hard when you see what they've done. These people are so evil. And at the same time, the country can come together. I'm saying this, but the country can come together. During my term, prior to COVID, we had the most successful country we've ever had.
I want to follow up on what Rachel asked you, though, because I hear you struggling with it. I hear you say it's a tough question, a bit unsure. You famously said, regarding Hillary Clinton, lock her up. You declined to do that as president.
I beat her. It's easier when you win. And they all said lock her up. And I felt, and I could have done it, but I felt it would have been a terrible thing. And then this happened to me.
Said it would have been a terrible thing. Now, he's about to go into, I think, where the whole lock her up thing came in 2016, and he had said, well, you'd be in jail or something during the debate. And then his followers pushed for lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, and that became a chant. So, but I remember at was it a rally or something after he won the presidency, he spoke with the public, and they were chanting the lock her up, and he dropped it, and he said, nah, we're not going to do that. That was all just campaign talk. I won the campaign, and we're going we're going to let that go. We're not going to pursue that. Not in those. Not that's not the exact quote, but something to that effect. We aren't going to do that. That's just campaign mudslinging, the things that we do. But here's a question. Something. Why would the Democrats be concerned if he is going to attempt, if he is planning a revenge of this lawfare? Why would they be concerned about that? Do you know why it is? Because they know that this was a sham and they don't want the same thing done to them. If they are innocent, he wouldn't be able to, according to them. But the fact that they are concerned or worried that he would come back into office and seek a revenge like that, that should tell everyone that they know this was an intentional sham prosecution. All of them across the board, I believe.
And so I may feel differently about it. I can't tell you. I'm not sure I can answer the question.
He said, I may feel differently about it. That would be a tough one. He said, I'm not sure if I can answer the question. And that's understandable. Certainly, the thought has to run through his head, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to seek revenge. But he said, I may feel differently. So, I think he pulls back on that really quick and realizes that, I'm not actually going to do that, just like he didn't do it in 2016 after he claimed that he was going to. But he felt that it was unbecoming of the office of the political process to do such a thing.
Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up, but the people would all say lock her up, lock her up. Okay, then we won, and I said pretty openly, I say, all right, come on, just relax, let's go. We got to make our country great. Yeah. And it would have been, think of it, you lock up the wife of a president of the United States.
They want to lock you up over $130,000 of an accounting thing, and
a perfectly stated accounting thing, but. People also say, can you bring the country together? And the answer is yes. Success will bring the country together because I had it together.
That's 100% right.
China virus came in.
I believe that's 100% right. If we have a successful country that is strong and respected on the world stage, that is capable of, influencing other countries not to be in these wars. If people have money in their pocket, their 401ks are growing. I think that is absolutely the truth. If we have success, there won't be this bickering and arguing. There won't be this division that we see everywhere right now. If we are a truly successful country.
Had it together. We really had it together, and it would have stayed. I think it would have stayed. Everybody was doing better. The country was doing better than it had ever done, and we're going back to those same policies and then some.
Americans have lost a lot of trust in institutions, and I think there's been a lot of discussion, especially online and especially with young people. How do we rebuild that trust in institutions? The CIA, the FBI, all those institutions.
Yeah, you're right.
I say strip them, strip all of them. And rebuild from the bottom. Strip all of the bureaucracies and rebuild from the bottom with respectable. Now, I know that a lot of people who work in these bureaucracies, the intelligence agencies, the DOJ, many of them are very serious about their job and take great pride in the work that they do. But we have seen over the past at least 8 years, but I would say more like 50 years, that at the top tier in the bureaucracies, there are problems. There are problems.
Right.
Some people think that one way to build trust is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Yeah. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
You heard that. If you elect Donald Trump president, he will declassify the JFK files, the 9/11 files, and the Epstein files. That's what he says. I tend to believe that he will, or at least he'll give every effort to. I don't know if it would necessarily actually be 100% possible because of potentially ongoing investigations, and I speak specifically with the Epstein Epstein files, and I think that's why he kind of thought about it for a second, because there are certainly still investigations and things going on in that may make at least a portion of it, maybe a large portion of it, impossible to classify or to declassify right now.
Attorney General, what are you? We talked about how you fix the DOJ, how you bring justice back to this country. When we talk to people, people's faith in the system is shattered.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely shattered. We've seen it in your fundraising numbers.
It should be.
So who do you choose? What kind? Do you have a name that top on your list?
I do have a couple, and one in particular, but I made a lot of good choices. I got that one wrong. I was very loyal to one because he was the first senator to endorse me. As soon as conflict came up, he ran for the hills. And actually, the second one, he ran for the hills. When he heard that he was going to be impeached, they were going to impeach him. And he was like a different person. I had to get rid of him. And I would say that was the one thing. One of the truly important positions is Attorney General. And I was very disappointed at both of those Attorney Generals. Jeff Sessions was, I don't blame myself too much. He was some position in Alabama, and he wanted to be so bad. And he was the first senator to endorse me. And again, I was sort of a civilian. I didn't have a lot of people. I didn't know that many senators. And he went to a rally in Mobile. The fact is that we had 72,000 people, so it wasn't that big a shot. But he came to me and he said, I'd love to be Attorney General. And I didn't see it. And then he came 3-4 times, and I said, just out of loyalty, I did it. And he ran for the hills because it's nasty. This is nasty business. This is a nasty world.
How do you find
and
those
Barr?
steel-spined people
I know
in the future?
Barr was threatened. In all fairness to him, he didn't want to. He was Attorney General. He was a respected guy, and they said they were going to impeach him. I understand that. I said I got impeached twice, and my numbers went up, which is unusual. I said, it's not so bad to be impeached. What are they going to impeach with? He had no idea what they were going to impeach. But he was going to be impeached. They didn't know what. They didn't know why. It's like they took me to trial. There's no crime. They were
he's going to say, listen to what he says next, because that's absolutely true. This is the reason why Alvin Bragg hid the charges all the way until the defense, until the defense was rested and the prosecution was in their closing arguments. This is why he hid all of that. He's going to tell you here in just a second why that was, and you can take that to the bank. I think it should have been clear to anyone really watching the case all along. But here I'm going to go back so we can kind of make sure I don't miss that.
Impeach him. He had no idea what they were going to impeach, but he was going to be impeached. They didn't know what. They didn't know why. It's like they took me to trial. There's no crime. They were trying to devise the crime during the trial. That's how bad it was. But with Barr, and he let me down. He let me down.
That is why they wanted him to testify so much. They wanted to trip him up in his words to see if they could find a crime to charge him with. That's what I thoroughly believe. They wanted him to testify, and they wanted him to bring up witnesses or and that's why his attorney didn't. Now, they had the option to bring up someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone to contradict some of the claims that were made by Cohen, I think, or maybe even Stormy. I can't remember. It's been a long trial, and it's been a lot of information. It's hard to keep up with all of it, but he had the option to bring in someone to testify in the defense, but they chose not to. And his lawyer said the defense shouldn't have to give any testimony to defend itself, because the presumption is innocence. The presumption is not guilty. And that's a fair point. So anyone that he would have brought up there, or anything that he would have said, would have potentially offered an opportunity to slap on a crime, an actual crime, or more charges. And that's why they wanted him to bring up some. That's why they wanted him to testify.
Dan, he let down our country. He endorsed me the other day, as you saw, right? But he let down our country. It takes a brave person to do it. People don't want to be impeached. They don't want to be indicted by these scoundrels who are much more evil than people. I'm telling you, China and Russia, they're not the problem. We have a problem from within that's really bad. So he let us down. The key to really good government, where we had like Lighthizer and some of these people that were really good, it's the person that's at the top. If you get the right person, it's like magic. It's like in real estate, you know, you put a good super in a building, the building runs well. You put a bad one in, it doesn't. It's the same thing at a little bit slightly larger scale. But we had great people. I rebuilt the military. We did things that were amazing. One of the things that the people that watch your show should know, we defeated ISIS quickly. I was told it would take 5 years. I did it in a matter of weeks, right? Fast. And they did it fantastically. And I got to know the real fighting generals. There's not woke in the military. There's woke at the top. They want there to be woke. But these guys aren't meant for woke.
Are you going to fire those generals? The woke generals at the top? Because people have been talking
yes,
about it.
I would get rid of them, yeah. But see, now I know them. I didn't know them before. I came in. What do I know? I was a New York real estate person. But no, I'd fire them. I would fire them. You can't have woke military. You said it's so great.
That is the truth. Our military, is the leaders and the highest ups in our military can't be spending their time worrying about things like diversity, equity, inclusion, ESG, all of these social and cultural ideals and conflicts. Our military should not be focused on that. They should be focused on protecting our company. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter what color, nationality, race. I mean, of course, nationality, you're going to want Americans or someone who's committed to America. I think we let some immigrants come in and start to work towards their citizenship by joining our military, which is great. Come in the right way. That is awesome. But we our military, especially at the top end, shouldn't be focused on this ridiculous social things.
You need people that want to win. They want to win wars. That's what their purpose is, to win wars, not to be woke. But we do have great military. You look at what we did. Look at I was the only one in 78 years or something. I didn't start any wars. I finished wars. I got out of Syria. I took our soldiers home. I would have moved a lot of them out of Germany. I was going to move them out of Germany. Not all of them, but I would have moved. We have 45,000. So that's like, what we do by doing that, we're giving Germany this massive shot in the arm, and then they don't treat us well on trade. But we have a great military, and there's nothing woke about it other than those top guys. I used to watch Milley sit there in Congress and talk about, he's trying to understand this and that mind. I won't get into it, but certain minds, I say, is this guy crazy? But it's one of those things. I've gotten to know a lot of the generals because of the things we did. And we had some unbelievable wins, as you know. We had some wins with terrorists, the two biggest terrorists in the world ever. I took out, So we had we have some great things planned. It's very important. The people that run the agencies, if you get the good ones, and I think I have great ones slated, but if you get the good ones, it's like magic. And we had mostly good ones. You think more about the bad ones. We had some bad ones too.
There's so much in there. I mean, when I'm rewatching it from having been there yesterday.
All right, so there you have it. Trump does not, by his own words, does not plan to seek revenge on Democrats using the same tactics and methods that they used. Should be no reason that they would be worried about that if everything that they've done is on the up and up. They really shouldn't, but it seems they're terrified of that. And we know they're terrified because in my next video, I'll bring up a previous collage of times from 2019 where the Democrats and liberal media were losing their minds about the idea of a president using the Department of Justice or various law enforcement agencies to investigate political opponents. They would call it a banana republic. And then they turned around and did exactly that. So anyway, from Trump, you hear it straight from his mouth. He doesn't plan to seek revenge. His best revenge will be success for the nation. And again, I truly believe that success for the nation is the way forward. It's the way to unity, and it's the way to internal peace within the country. So anyway, there you have it. If you found anything of value, or I hope you want to come back and see what we have coming up. Hit a comment. Let me know what you think about this, and hit the like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future ones. Thanks a lot.